Hello, everyone, and welcome to Entrepreneur Empire. My name is Destiny Scott, and I am so happy and thrilled to have Felicia Carter. Her um, business name is Lioness Creation Designs, and I just love that because it has lioness in it, right? That is so powerful. So, thank you for joining us. If you can introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about yourself, and we'll get started.
Okay, hi guys. My name is Felicia Carter, and as Sis said, I call her Sis. My sis said I am the CEO of Lioness Creation Designs. I also have a podcast called Chakra and Love Healing the Podcast. The way that I actually got started with my business is I know everyone was going through something back in 2020 during the vid. I don't know what to call it on here, but I was depressed. I had been sent home to work from home. My kids had been also sent home to do homeschool. So at the same time that they were having class, I was trying to work on the computer. They actually were in the kitchen because we didn't have, they didn't want them in the bedrooms. So they were all in the kitchen, three kids. I was in the living room of the house. So I could hear them, see them trying to work, trying to be a wife, trying to, like do all the things except go outside. We were at home all the time.
Mhm.
At that time, I didn't know how to be with myself. I didn't know how to work through anything, emotions that I had going on. I was a complete mess. So I decided that I wanted to, figure out how to get out of my depression. And the way that I found to do that, I looked on Google. I said, what is a natural way to heal myself?
Mm.
And one of the things that came up was chakra bracelets. And at the time, I didn't know what a chakra bracelet was. I was like, what is this? I said, well, let me go on Amazon and just order one because, maybe it'll help in some way. And I went on Amazon, ordered my first bracelet. When it came in the mail, I was like a little kid. I was like, all right, I got me a bracelet. Let me put it on. So I went ahead, I put the bracelet on, and I could feel tingling from my wrist up my arm. And I was like, is this normal? Is that supposed to happen? And I started researching what is this tingling in my arm from my chakra bracelet? And it started telling me about energy, chakra healing. I was like, oh, this is a lot. And that's kind of how my business got started because I started making them. Um, I learned from YouTube how to make a bracelet. And then I was like, okay, kids, do y'all want a bracelet? And they was like, yeah. So I made them a bracelet, gave each one of them a bracelet. They started feeling the energy that was going up their arms and stuff. I told them, no, that's normal. Keep it on because they wanted to take it off. And then after that, I asked my one of my best friends. I was like, do you and your girlfriend want a bracelet? And she was like, yeah. So I made them bracelets. I made my mom bracelets, my sisters, and I was like, I think everybody needs to feel this. And so from there, I kind of was like, I could start making more like jewelry. So at first, I was like, it was gonna just be a jewelry business, but since it's become more than that, it's become like a way of my spiritual awakening, and it's been really amazing.
Wow. So now you said that you looked up natural ways of healing yourself.
Hmm.
The chakras was something that you looked into, and now you are a CEO of your own business,
Yes,
and you still work in corporate.
yes, I still have a 9 to 5. That is something that I feel like once my business hits the correct people, it will start to flourish more. But I just keep doing what I'm doing because I feel like my business is more so for people, not for everyone, but just for people who are, you know, along the lines of a spiritual journey.
Mm,
And without them actually being on a spiritual journey or interested in that, they're probably not going to get something from my business. I do have a few entrepreneur tools on there, but you really have to be either looking for that, because the bracelets that I have are not just beaded bracelets. They do have that chakra energy. And although I do have like charm bracelets and things like that, I feel like my business has more of an intention towards someone who is more spiritual. They're not going to look at my website and be like, oh, I'm just going to buy some jewelry. I feel like it's more of a purpose towards my business. So, it hasn't grown quite yet, but that's also because I have I have changed it up a little bit from what I first started it to be. So it's
okay.
gone through a few changes.
Okay. Well, since you mentioned it, we are going to take a look because you have some beautiful jewelry and I want everyone to see.
Thank you. Yes,
Okay.
it's all
I'm about
handmade,
to
all
share,
of the
right?
jewelry. So
About to share the stream. Here we go. Now, I want you to also talk about some of this. That's a beautiful
yeah,
picture.
thank
Now,
you.
you do earrings as well. I mean, yeah, earrings as well.
Yes, earrings, necklaces, bracelets, waist beads, almost everything except for rings. I haven't quite mastered yet. Do
Okay.
have lock jewelry as well. So yeah, I try to do almost all jewelry that you could think of for
Okay.
the
Now,
business.
it's for people that don't know, is lock jewelry for your dreads?
Yes, it is. I have some in my hair somewhere. This one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gorgeous, gorgeous.
Thank you. That one I can't say is my own. This one I do also purchase from other, small businesses like mine as well. Not just like with spiritual healing jewelry, but just other, Black entrepreneurs. So I try to get things from them as well.
You said the perfect words. I hope everybody heard that. You purchased from another small business, and
I,
that
I found
keeps
that it was
everyone
important.
going. It is.
Yeah, it's definitely important. I can't always purchase when I want to all the time, because finances aren't always what they are. But when I do have extra funds to support another small business, I definitely do that because I know how important it is. And then it also brings other people to that business because I feel like word of mouth is very important. I've done a lot of reviews for other companies, and I don't expect anything back from anyone, but reviews are important to small businesses, definitely.
And it always comes back because you're doing something for somebody else.
Definitely.
I think if
Uh,
enough of us, which are all small businesses, supported each other instead of going to the big corporations, you know,
yes,
that'll generate revenue for everyone. And like you
exactly.
said,
And
word of mouth is key. Not just word
definitely.
of mouth, period. Communication.
Yep. And when I have the time, because it's like, sometimes you might need something from that big corporation, but I'm like, if I don't need it right away, I'm definitely gonna find it within a small business. I stopped using lotion just to use body butters from other companies because I was like, I can order this from one of my small business friends, So I don't even use lotion like that anymore. I'm like, let me go find a good body butter to put on my body.
Body butter. There's people out there that are making t-shirts and
Yes,
shoes and just a lot that you can do.
definitely.
So now you make waist beads. Oh, that
Yes.
is gorgeous.
Thank you. Yes. So my waist beads that I make are not only the ones that tie, but I like to make the waist beads with a clasp. They also stretch because waist beads are supposed to. help you figure out if you're losing weight or not. Um, it's actually a tradition, an African tradition, where they would put the waist beads on, and with the string, though. They would have the string ones, and um, instead of using a scale, they would use the waist beads to figure out whether or not they were losing weight. So if the waist beads started to drop from where they originally put them on, then they knew they were losing inches off of their waist. So,
Hmm, that is an interesting fact. Okay.
yes. And so on the website, I have the certain collections. So at the top, it'll say like Lioness Creation Design Chakra Collection or something like that. And when you
Hmm.
click there, it'll show all of the different bracelets in that collection or the waist beads that are in that collection. On the website, I've gone through my story that I just shared with you guys. That is what the big part is for. And then just kind of has a video part as well. It shows you my podcast. And then those are some of the collections that I have as well for earrings, gemstone
Ooh.
necklaces, zodiac necklaces. I have zodiac uh, chakra bracelets. So just really try to go through as much as I could with the website. And that's one of the zodiac necklaces, the lock jewelry, and a picture of the charm bracelets that we have. Those are the zodiac charm bracelets. So,
Gorgeous,
yeah.
gorgeous. And you can also subscribe to the emails, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes,
Okay.
that's something that I'm working on getting more emails out there because doing the emails for me is not I'm not very consistent with it, but that is something that I'm growing into.
Yes,
Um
yes,
because that can be time consuming sometimes to figure
yes.
out what to send, what information I want to get out to my audience. But you can still always subscribe. And then once we are more on a consistent basis, you'll see those emails come in.
Okay. Now, I just have to ask,
Mhm.
does crystals play a big part of the holistic healing, the healing process?
Um,
Or,
so it can be.
mhm.
For my journey, it was because that is kind of what sparked my journey. Now it's not something I've learned over time. It's not something that you have to have. Like you don't have to have crystals. You don't have to have chakra bracelets or any spiritual tools really to help you along your journey. Really is just being one with yourself and really figuring yourself out. I found that shadow work is a huge part of your spiritual healing. And without I kind of feel like without that aspect of it, without healing your traumas and figuring out what gets you going. Like if you get angry about something, you have to figure out, why am I getting angry about this? You have to really figure out what your triggers are and what trauma is getting you stuck in a space. So you don't have to have crystals, but they were an important part of me learning and growing what the different things were and what the chakras were within my body, and learning about the shadow work. It opened those things up for me, so I do consistently still wear them. But I do feel like it was important for my personal journey.
Okay. That was going to be my next question. I'm glad that you brought it up about shadow. Um,
See?
yeah. How do you incorporate meditation and the journaling into your daily routine?
So I have actually gotten much better with journaling more recently over this past year. Normally, when I get up now, I'll let you know, like, kind of my routine. When I get up in the morning, I get up, I take some sips of water because, water is good for you first thing in the morning before your feet touch the ground. And I do drink room temperature water. I do not drink ice cold water. And then the next thing that I do, I go into a meditation. I have an app on my phone called Insight Timer, which actually helps for people who feel like they don't know how to meditate without music or without, guidance. And a lot of the times I do guided meditations, but I have learned to do meditation without it as well. And I think that that's important too. But that takes a lot of practice, especially if you might have ADHD or something like that where you can't focus. Insight Timer has become something that helps me with the guided meditations. So I find what kind of meditation I want to do for that day. Do I want to do a gratitude meditation? Do I want to do finding my spirit guide meditation? They have a lot of different meditations, a lot of different teachers on there. And I just pick one. I pick how long I want to do my meditation. Sometimes I'll do a 10-minute meditation, sometimes 20, sometimes 30. I've gotten up to an hour. It just depends on how much time I have in the morning before I need to get ready for work. And I take that time, I put do not disturb on my phone, and I meditate. Usually I lock the door too. I'll lock my room door and I will meditate because I don't want the kids coming in asking me questions. Don't knock on my door. None of that. Like, this is my time. And then, depending on how long my meditation is, then I'll go from that into journaling, and I'll do my journaling. I actually have started a 369 manifestation journaling. So instead of just my normal writing in my personal journal, I've started my manifestation journals. So that has really helped. I also have a shadow work journal. So sometimes I'll switch between the shadow work on the manifestation journal. I like journaling. I don't always get into my personal journal unless I really need to get out some thoughts and feelings that I need to put down on paper. Um, and then I have also even, what was it? Okay, there's my manifestation journal, my shadow work journal, my personal journal. I've started remembering my dreams now. So there's an app on my phone called Dream Kit, and you put down your dreams in there. So it's kind of like a dream journal, but it also interprets your dreams for you and gives you advice. Yeah. That I really have found is also very helpful too. So yeah, journaling, meditation, manifestation, all of that is really something that I've incorporated into my daily life. But I try not to think of it as, oh, I have to do this, like, oh, I get to do this, and it has made it easier for me to do every day. So
Wow, wow. Now, you said a couple of things and I wrote them down. I wanted to talk about.
mhm.
What is the difference between grounded meditation and just meditation?
um well, for me, they're one and the same, but also different. So sometimes when I want to do a little bit more of a grounded meditation, I'll go outside and sit in the grass in my backyard. I take my shoes off. I sit right on the ground. I don't lay on the ground just because I don't want grass in my hair. Like, I don't know if that's still my ego in the way, but I don't want to have to wash my hair after I meditate. It just is too much. So I'll sit there with my socks and my shoes off in the grass and I will meditate. And that is grounding because you're getting the energy from the ground.
Okay.
And it goes up through your feet, which your feet also have chakras in it as well. So that's why you can ground on the ground, on the natural ground, and it can go up through your body and touch all of those energy centers as well. That is a great way to ground. Getting On the beach is a great way to ground. You're barefoot there. Water is a great way to ground as well. Um, so there are different ways that you can do that, but you can also do a meditation with grounding. Some of the meditations that I've done through Insight Timer have been called grounding. And you can even do that in your house. Like you just sit a certain way, you take your socks and your shoes off, you put your feet flat on the on like your carpet or your floor or whatever, and you can ground that way too, as long as you visualize that you are touching the ground, and you can visualize, like, I don't know, it's weird to explain, but like if you were a tree, the roots would be coming through your feet into the ground, right? So that's like the easiest way I can explain it. So you can ground that way. And then also something that I think is really cool that I actually want to get for myself is Amazon. Of course, I love Amazon too, but Amazon has a grounding mat. Like you can get and you can put it in your bed, and you can lay on that, and while you're asleep you can ground, just like if you were outside you would get the same healing properties for your body, and it helps you ground. Like, I mean, it's so many different ways that you can get grounded, that is, it's insane.
Okay, I'm glad I asked that question.
Yeah.
Pretty sure people needed to know that.
Yes.
Um, so, what has this journey been like from you from
um
start
it
until
hasn't been
now?
easy. Yeah, it hasn't been easy. When I first started, I was all over the place. I was just getting information and just finding it and, like, saying it or whatever,
Yeah.
right? Like, okay, like this is what this said, this resource said this or whatever, but things weren't adding up sometimes. And then like some things that I know that I've said maybe during a live or something like that, I realized that back then I may have said, like, the sky was purple because of XYZ, right? And then today I'm like, oh no, the sky's not purple, it's actually green because of blah, blah, blah. Like, so there are things that I had said thinking that because someone else said it, it was true. And you find that a lot of what you are learning comes from yourself, also through research, but just because someone else had this experience on their spiritual journey, it doesn't mean that you will have the same experience. So that's really important to keep in mind. There are things that, like with the chakras, there are certain things that are just going to be that way. Your root chakra is going to stay the same for everyone, right? It's going to teach you the same principles, um but there are other things in your journey. It's not just about the chakras, it's more so about what you learn through your own knowledge, and how it has affected you. So sharing during my journey has definitely been important because I've noticed the changes that I've had, even through the past year. Um, like especially with I have a podcast called Chakra and Love Healing Podcast. And even on my podcast, I have said things in my season 1 that in my season 3 is not exactly the same. Like
Right.
I I was more angry, back like in my season 1 about things. But now I've learned that I can't always be angry. I can't always just have a quick reaction to things. But that's also through shadow work. It's also through, therapy, because in my season 1 I wasn't in therapy. My season 3 I'm in therapy, and I love going to therapy. Like, going to therapy is something that I'm like, when am I going to have my next appointment? Because I need to talk about this stuff. So, the way that I was, excuse me, the way that I was in my season 1 is not who I am in my season 3. And that was just last year, you know? So, I mean, things change all the time. You learn things all the time, new information, and you have to, just be wary that even though it may be different, it's not wrong. You did experience what you experienced, but it wasn't necessarily wrong. It just was what it was at that time, you know? So I'm learning that as well and giving myself grace for those things, like, and just knowing that, you know, it doesn't mean I was a bad person because I used to yell more. It doesn't mean I was a bad person just because I might have used to cuss more, like I'm still a good person. I've just learned and I've grown. So,
And that's how you know that spiritual journey and that growth is actually happening, because you just said that you can look back and see,
hmm
and now that you see the difference.
yep.
So yeah, yeah. Um, I am a big Tina Turner fan,
I
and
love Tina.
she said, when I watched the movie about her doing the
hmm
chant, do you do that as well? The
I
chanting.
did not do the chant, but it's something that I like ever since I saw that movie, and I've watched it like a few
I
dozen
want to do it
times.
myself.
But it's something that I was doing like it was a challenge on Insight Timer where he was going through the Buddha stuff.
Mm,
I didn't get to that chant or anything, but learning like Buddha and stuff like that, like a- as a form of meditation is also probably very helpful because it definitely, even from the way that you sit, the way that you chant and stuff, it can definitely help with your meditation as far as really getting you into that meditative state.
okay.
But that is definitely something where you have to do a lot of research. It takes a lot of time. So, for her to get to that point that she was in her journey, she was definitely doing that on a consistent basis to get there. So yeah. I have wanted to try that though.
Okay. Thank you so much for your time. Can you let
No, thank you
me know
for
how
having
to
me.
reach you and what platforms you're on and all of that?
Yes. So my name is Felicia Carey Carter on Facebook, and on most of my other platforms, it is Lioness Creation Designs, except for my LinkedIn. It's just Felicia Carter on LinkedIn. Um, and I'm also on YouTube, is Lioness Creation Designs, TikTok. I'm kind of all over the place because I try to be on as many platforms as possible. So yeah, like if you put in Lioness Creation Designs on Google, you'll probably find the other platforms that I didn't mention. But yeah,
Okay. Well, thank you, everyone. I hope that you learned something, that you gained some knowledge, and that you understand that you are your own inspiration and healing force. And have a great day. Thank you all for watching. It's been another wonderful episode of Entrepreneurial Empire. Until next time, this has been sponsored by Passion for Fashion. Guys, take care.